Greetings from Grove City, Ohio. This is Pastor James in Boston. And how are you fine folks doing tonight? Today is January 27th, 2012. And with this new year, even though it is not the first, I realize that, but you know what? It's still the new year. So anyway, with this new year, this is part of the brand new Second Reformation, which is also our new revolution. It is a revolution of metalheads gathering together and rising up together to create change in this world and to bring light into darkness. So, with that being said, with this New Year's revolution, what I want to do is instead of typing out a lot of typewritten sermons and messages for the masses, which can tend to be very long process for me to type, and I usually end up 10, 12 or more pages long. It's long for me to type, and it's long for people to read. And the sad truth about it is most people really just don't have that much time in a day unless they have absolutely nothing else to do except sit down and maybe read over the sermons or messages for the masses. So, with this new year, what my goals and plans are is to do more videos. I want to try to do my messages for the masses and even sermons on video. Now, I do not yet have any professional equipment, and I've been kind of hesitant to start and do a whole lot because of that. But God kind of put a little bit of conviction on me and says, you know what, just use what you got. All right. So this is just click and go with it. I can't do any editing. I have no professional sound equipment. So please, just bear with me. I know this sounds terrible, but hopefully I've worked out the bugs a little bit compared to the last time I tried to do this video. I'm remaking this video. This is basically what I'm wanting to do is show and provide some plans, future plans for my future church, Rock Force Church. And I wanted to share some of the future goals and plans for that church that will be forthcoming in the near future, hopefully starting this year. The first thing I want everybody to realize is right now, yes, I'm an ordained minister. So I call myself Pastor James Lawson, or James Jim Lawson, if I use my middle initials. I am not set up as a nonprofit organization or anything like that. I do not have a nonprofit status. I do not have a 501(c)(3) status or any of that. So right now, none of that exists. There's no way that anybody can donate money to me or to Rock Force Church at this present time, as of January 27th, 2012. That just don't exist. It will in the future. Next thing I wanted to do is, these are all like I said, my future goals, my future plans for Rock Force Church. Realize that, me being a working man and not having any cash, any kind of equity, I don't have money in the bank, so to speak, and I live paycheck to paycheck, and I pay my bills. So the harsh reality is, there is no money. The money don't exist, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that we can't get started. So, to get started, my goal is to open up my home that I'm living in, because I live in a home instead of an apartment now, and just start it out as a Bible study. And try to do a Bible study once a week on Saturday nights, progress from there, grow from there, get a regular attending crowd, and then, we can try to incorporate, try to get the nonprofit status, try to get the whole 501(c)(3) and all of that. And at that point in time, then I could collect offerings, and we could actually, look more at getting either renting a church building or renting some other kind of building space or whatever, and move to there and use that facility temporarily until we get more money saved up for the church. And the church fund And then we can actually either buy a church that already is built and exists, or look at, which is my idea, is to buy some land, because there's plenty of land even right here in Grove City, and then build it from scratch. So there are, right now, here in Grove City area alone, there are several plots of land. And there are quite a few of these plots of land that have 100 or more acres of land available. All right? But we're looking at, last year I talked to a broker or, somebody, mortgage broker or realtor or whoever it was, and right now, in Grove City, now I don't know what the rest of Columbus is like, but I would imagine it's the same. There's probably other land in other areas around Columbus too, by the way, just for a heads up on that. But in the Grove City area, land is going between $10,000 to $20,000 an acre. That is per acre. So we're looking at, okay, the plots of land I'm looking at are going to be 100 acres or more. There's one plot of land that's 112 acres, right? You multiply $10,000 to $20,000 per acre times 100, and you kind of get the point. So with that, another thing that I want to do with this video, even though this is not a book promotion video, this is more or less a video of me sharing my ideas and future goals for my church. But once again, I just want to remind everybody, my book is called To Know and to Be Known in the Kingdom. And what I do want to share about my book and for my book right now is the fact that, like I said, I don't have nonprofit status. You can't donate money to me or to Life Force Church. What I'm asking for help to get money coming in so that we can, even just opening up my home, to go out and rent a church in the future when we get enough of a crowd of regular people. That's going to take money, people. That's the bottom line. Where the rubber meets the road, this world rotates around money. If you don't have money, I'm sorry, but you can't even pay your electric bill, your gas bill. You can't put gas in your car. I mean, it takes money to do all that. That's the rubber meeting the road, people. Okay? So the best way to support me and to support my ministry so that we can get Life Force Church up and running and begin the reality of actually having this church group moving and growing and reaching thousands and thousands of people is to start with square one. Purchase and then read my book. Don't just, if you buy the paperback book, don't just buy it and set it on the shelf. But enough about that. The next thing I wanted to share specifically about my book is that it is available on all e-book applications. So, for e-book, for example, you can download it onto your iTunes, your iPads, your iPods, your Kindles, your Nooks, for Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Basically any kind of e-book format and anything that you can read an e-book on, it is available in all of those applications. The e-book, for example, I checked it out on Amazon Books the other day, a couple weeks ago, and the e-book price on Amazon was $3.99. I'm not that familiar. I haven't looked into everything like Barnes & Noble and everywhere else to find out what the e-book prices are there. But I can say this. Number one, that means that for all of my friends that are not local to the United States, that they live in other countries other than the United States, you can purchase my book via the e-book and read it and support my ministry without having to buy a paperback book and pay for shipping and handling to have it shipped overseas. So, that's number one. That's the main thing I want all of my friends to know, because I got a lot of friends in a whole lot of other countries other than the United States. And that way, you friends can still support me in buying my book and then reading my book by, getting it off of ebook. Any way you can find it on ebook, whether it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, if it's available there yet. I might try to work with iTunes. Anyway, just look up my book and then find the ebook application, please. Okay, that was number one. Lost my train of thought. Number two, the ebook is a lot cheaper than the paperback book. Like I said, Amazon price was $3.99. For those of you who have a lower budget, ebook might be the way to go. And some people nowadays are preferring that. They prefer to read books on their iPods, their iPads, their Kindles, their Nooks. They read on the go. They take it to work with them, whatever. Most people don't like carrying around a paperback book all the time. However, for those of you who are old-fashioned enough or simply just like to have something in their hands, the paperback book is available. It's a little bit more expensive. You have to pay the full retail price. The full retail price might be cheaper depending on Amazon or Barnes & Noble compared to going through Author House, which is my publication company. It might be cheaper either way. You'd have to look and compare prices. I also have a few books left available in my own personal stock. That way, if you guys do want to order the paperback book and have me personally autograph it for you, then contact me either via email, Facebook. My phone number is on Facebook. A lot of people have my phone number. You can text me or call me or email me. Any way you got to do. Okay? Now let's move on. Let's get off the subject of the book completely. My future goals and future plans for Rock Force Church, this basically is just the brick and mortar details. Okay? I'm going to try to create more videos and share a lot more about myself, about the ministry, about the goals and the plans and the ideas of Rock Force Church as I keep making more videos. Okay? This is the brick and mortar details only for this video. And the brick and mortar details follow as this. My goal for Rock Force Church is to have 4 separate buildings on a plot of land. And now I'm going to break that down and I'm going to explain that one building at a time. The first building obviously is the church that will house the sanctuary and so on and so forth within the church. One more thing that I want to do is actually, and I forgot this in the last video, I'm just now reminded of that. In fact, thank you, Jesus, for reminding me of that. The second building that I actually want to do, and I actually wanted to do it separate and outside from the church. I would like to, and this is just an idea, folks, it'd be nice to have, I would like to have some kind of a book / clothing / music type store. And like if you go to a Christian bookstore and you can go and you can buy books and Bibles, you can buy music there, and they sell a few shirts. I want it to be that kind of store. It'll carry Bibles and books. It'll carry more than just shirts. I want to have like maybe a whole line of apparel. Shirts, pants, whatever, you name it. Hats, bandanas, patches, whatever. Anything apparel-wise, I want to be able to offer that. And then obviously, the books and the Bibles, sell music as well. Okay? But I want it to be a separate building outside of the church. That way, it can be set up as a for-profit business, which will be, separate building. It should, hopefully, be able to be set up as a for-profit entity in its own self, its own building, and plus it won't be limited to being open as availability of the church being open. So the church could actually be closed and locked up, but the store could still maintain normal business hours from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. or whatever, normal type business hours that any clothing outlet or bookstore here locally would have, that kind of stuff. The third building I want to have, and this is possibly going to be set up as a for-profit business. There again, depending on the intricate details, but I do want to have some kind of radio station, and I do want to have it in its own completely separate building as well, because there again, I would like to set the radio station up as a for-profit organization for business. And then the fourth building that I want to do is going to be a concert hall type of a building, okay? And the reason why I want to have my own concert hall is because, excuse me once again, I'm considered old school. And back in the day, right here in Columbus, Ohio, in the mid to late 80s and the early 90s, there used to be a place right here locally called The King's Place. For all of my local friends that are on Facebook, many of you are familiar with this place. And what this place did, the King's Place did, was hold concerts. And they held concerts on a regular basis. And what was so unique and so special about the King's Place was this. It was one place, one building that everybody could identify with, and people came to concerts there on a regular basis. Listen, we had people coming from every state that surrounded the state of Ohio. People came from Michigan, from Indiana, from Kentucky, from Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Basically, any state that was surrounded Ohio that people could drive, anywhere between 5, 6, sometimes up to 7, 8 hours just to come to concerts here in Columbus, Ohio at the King's Place. And why? Because they could identify with the place. It was one location that held concerts on a regular basis, and people came. There would be crowds of 2, 3, 4,000 people trying to get into concerts, and that place didn't even hold that much. Alright? I want to bring back that scene to the Columbus, Ohio area, because ever since the King's Place shut down, the scene here in Columbus, Ohio has fizzled. We got a few bands that will go and play in bars, which is all well and good. I love going to bars and seeing bands play. There's nothing wrong with that. That is not what I'm talking about in this video right now. And then, there might be a concert like once or twice a year, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. One concert may be down here at this church, one may be way over here at that church, and the crowds just aren't the same this day and age, because it's so spread out between that church, and it's not one central location anymore. Nowadays, I can go to these churches and go to these concerts, and there might be, maybe, 200 or 300 people. And that used to be crowds of 2, 3, 4,000 people is now barely 200, 300 people, because there's no one central location. Not one place that everybody can identify with to have concerts on a regular basis like what used to be. I want to bring that back for the Columbus, Ohio area. So those are going to be the 4 main buildings. There's going to be a 5th building, actually, since I'm redoing my video. That's going to be years down the road. That's a totally separate idea. And right now, I am not permitted to share that idea, just because. But that's, many, well, not many, but that's, 5, 10 years down the road after we got land, after we start building, after we have a church, and we're able to do concerts. Listen, I want to be able to, with Rock Force Church, I want to be able to have rock and roll / heavy metal, a little bit of God. I want it to be a little bit experimental with the music, praise and worship music, but it's basically going to be heavy basis, when we come to church and we sing praise and worship, be ready to rock it out. Right? Even with the worship, it's going to be a little bit on the heavier side. That's going to draw the crowd, the rock and roll, heavy metal crowd, because that's what Rock Forest Church is going to be all about. Right? Okay, but that's going to be on a regular basis. But also, on a regular basis, I want to be able to start holding the concerts again and make it as great as it once was. I want to make it similar but different, because this is a new day and a new age. So I want to make it a little bit the same, but a little bit different than what we used to have with King's Place. One central location, one area, Central Ohio, in the Columbus or Grove City area, where everybody can identify with and come to on a regular basis. Look, if we can have, once we get it all built and running, if we can have concerts every weekend, I would book concerts every weekend at Rock Forest Church, if we can hold them. I want to be able to have our own festivals, have enough of a nice building, maybe even do an outside setup, during the summer, and have a 2, 3, 4-day weekend festivals. Have our own festivals right here in the Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio area that people can come to every summer. That would be awesome. Alright? So, these are just ideas. That's just the brick and the mortar ideas. Like I said, with this year, 2012, I want to do more videos. So be prepared. I'm going to do more videos. I'm going to talk more about my goals and plans for Rock Forest Church. I'm going to go over more of the details of the non-brick and mortar details. That was just to cover the brick and mortar details. And this is just kind of a Kickstarter to get things started for that. And I wanted to redo this video anyway. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. And I cannot say enough. And I am going to talk about my book more in videos, other videos as well. Please, right now, you can't donate money to me. You can't donate money to Rock Forest Church, because that option is not available right now. Please, 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 help me support my ministry, purchase my book, and please read my book. I say a lot of very important things. I share a lot of great things. And I want to keep doing more videos and talking more about some more details of my book and other videos. Okay? So thank you, and God bless you. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful 2012.